Ready, Joe? Meeting called to order. Tuesday, May 15, 2018. Approve amend meeting agenda for tonight's meeting. And we need to add the Rogers Lake area.
We should at least add in for discussion, but include in the road repairs for 2018. Billy, they just turn on your microphone.
Anybody else have anything to amend? Approve the minutes from April 17, 2018.
Do we need to approve the amended agenda
You mean first?
first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Approve the amended agenda for tonight.
Yes. I thought we were done.
I
with
made
that.
a motion.
Okay,
And I second it.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we will approve the minutes from April 17th, 2018. I'll approve.
I'll second.
Floor items.
Gonna vote on it?
Do we have to on that one? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes from April 17, 2018?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, now we'll move on to floor items.
I'm Dave Doffenbach. I live down on 4959, 184th Avenue. That's part of what you guys call the Rogers Lake area, I guess. I was here last month and discussed how bad our road is down there. And it was my understanding, maybe I'm wrong on this, that either you guys or some of the council members are all going to go down and take a look at that area and give us some opinions on what could be fixed now, and then get it onto a 5-year plan for maybe a whole recovery. And I don't know if there's the bad areas we got down there now, if they can be cleaned up, patched up good enough to hold up for 2 to 5, 7 years. I don't know that. So I don't know if you guys were down there to look at that and you can give us some ideas so we can talk in our neighborhood at least what's going on down there. But I see you amended it for the road repairs here for 2018 now, but I don't know if you had it on for the 5-year improvement plan down here on number 3 agenda either, so. That's my concern, so I can, hopefully that Joel or somebody's been down there can give us some feedback on, possibility of doing some repairs to hold us up for a few years anyhow to,
Yeah, I can't speak for the other committee members here, Dave, but I can give you my own opinion. I did go down there and drive it. Did you, Dana?
Yeah.
Have you been, are you familiar with it, Bill?
Yeah.
It's my opinion at this point that, yeah, I think we can come up with some kind of a plan to give to the city council to look at for fixing spots, and I think that was talked about, wasn't it, Dan, in your last council meeting?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I may. At the last Road and Bridge meeting, we discussed looking into or getting approval to look at replacing those, at least look at digging up the 2 pits that were identified on Yakima and 184th, if I have my numbers correct. After a conversation with Joe, the challenge with those pits is there's no real way to get a good estimate of what's in there, cause it could be, opening up, and he made reference to the last time he had to go, one of those, he had to go in there and he had to go about 20 feet down to dig it all out. So we don't know necessarily the full cost of addressing that. Bringing that up to council, it was recommended that we look at to where that work would fit in amongst the rest of the repair work that needed to be done throughout the city, and see where all that fits in, and knowing that, you know, Dave has mentioned if there's anything that we can do to get it by for a while. That's why I just, based on the discussion at the council workshop, I wanted to make sure that it was at least included in the discussion for when we were talking about the repair work for 2018. And it already was in the 5-year plan to do a full reclaim down there. So we would have to, and then it was a matter of, does that still fit in the current time frame, or are there other options now that since the Road and Bridge Committee has been down there, do we think there may be some other options to patch areas so that we wouldn't necessarily have to do an entire full reclaim in the next few years, and depending on how all that worked out?
Yeah,
The area he's talking about, there's no pits in there.
There's no what?
There's no pits.
There's
dig
no
out.
pits on 183rd coming in off of
Seven.
whatever, 7 Roanoke, right? The 2 pits were in the back, so.
Right.
I'm not talking about the pits, I'm talking about everything.
Patching.
I'd say probably from 7th Avenue down to Waco, where the 4-way crossing is, that's
That's the worst.
probably the worst
Right.
stretch, and probably 75% of the people at least go that far that live in there. So is there something that we can tear up those bad spots at least and fix them up and get the dips out of there, and then, so we got something to look forward to. And then down the 5-year plan to redo something or whatever.
well, like I said, Dave, earlier here, I can't speak for my committee members, but I can speak for myself and just give you my own personal opinion. And after driving down there, I kind of came to the conclusion that there's other roads in the city that are a whole heck of a lot worse. So naturally, I'm gonna lean a little bit towards these other projects first. Not taking you off the list or anything like that. My opinion is that we probably should. This ain't a real good word to use, but it's the only one I know of right offhand, and it's Band-Aids. Band-Aids. So we'll Band-Aid, we could probably Band-Aid some areas. And that would probably work, wouldn't it, Joe, this year?
My opinion, like Brad was saying, he's gonna get a reclaimer if he gets this job for Old Viking. If he's got that reclaimer, see what it costs to go in off of 7 from our line down to that intersection. Reclaim it and do it right.
Reclaim it and then
Pave
put
it.
new blacktop down, or just
Yeah.
leave it?
No, pave it, that way that section's done.
So from 7,
No, well, it's in quite a ways off of 7.
The border, the whole
From our
grove
line.
comes in.
Hope
A
Road
little
is-
yeah, right.
It's like that first cul-de-sac to the
I
right.
mean, that way that section is done. You won't have to touch it again.
So in Shane's study, in that whole general area, he was estimating like $800,000. Was that a complete reconstruct? It must have been.
Them figures is no good to go by.
But when he came up with those figures,
As in
was it a
2012.
reconstruct?
Actually, this was last the last year, the 2017 road study that he did, that's where the numbers came from.
I wouldn't go by them numbers.
No, I understand that, Joe, but my question is, in his study, was that a complete reconstruction?
Yes.
It would have had to be at that kind of
Yeah.
money.
Full depth reclamation and paving, estimating that it would be about $100,000, $800,000.
Yeah, that's for everything.
But
That's for
if-
taking out the bad spots or taking all the,
No.
That's everything.
That's no subgrade correction.
no subgrade?
No. But that way, if he's got the machine here to reclaim Old Viking part of it, see what it costs to do that.
And how would that affect the homeowners, just roughly? Is that, do you tax everyone in that area for that small little area, or how do you do that when you just do a partial?
My opinion was just, if it was up to me, I just hang on to that cost. And it would be assessed back to all the residents when we do the whole project. It'd be kinda hard to assess just the households that,
Because there ain't that many of us, that's what I
Right.
say, about 75%.
to me,
people
you
go
have to
down
just
that road.
hang on to that cost and it's gonna have to be added into
The total, that's
the
something.
total. Like you said, probably 90% of the people use that section of the road.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah, if they can do
I mean, ain't no sense putting a
Joe's
bank,
opinion would be validated by the attorney. Make sure that's what we could do.
but you know, to me, putting a Band-Aid on it, in a couple of years, you're gonna grind it back up anyway, so you're just wasting money. You go in there and fix it right and be done with it.
I understand that, Joe, but my issue with that is, I believe the neighborhood of the Ebony and Garnett, who, those folks have been coming here for 20 years complaining about their area.
All right.
And here again, you know, now the city's moving forward with some of this pretty seriously. Now, the folks at Ebony and Garnett who've been doing the most complaining in the last 20 years are gonna see other areas getting fixed up, and once again, they're getting over, you know, they're getting passed over.
But last month, Ebony and Garnett was in here, resident, they didn't want us to do anything until we get rid of the water.
And
Well,
that's
it's
the
all
same,
part of it.
and that's the same thing Shane said, don't do anything till we get the subgrade and the water issues figured out, so.
Well, then you get the water issue figured out, you need a lot of ditching. You gotta go across private land to clean out a lot of ditches.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
could you realize that the city has borne all the cost, the last 3 repairs in the last 8 years on Ebony and Garnett. There's been 3 major patches there,
Mhm.
and they haven't been assessed for any of that. I do agree that until the water and the subgrade are taken care of, that is on the 5-year plan, I believe, that we, that area. I think that the major patches that Joe's done over the last, every couple of years for the past 8 years, I think are holding that road together. Yes, it's getting Alligator north of those patches, but you gotta take care of the other contributing issues. It's been a long time, other than digging out the 3 pits that Joe dug out. It's been a long time since anything's been done down in that southeast corner. Now, again, you've got a whole list of things here you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't disagree with Joe that if you got the reclaiming equipment out here,
At least get a price, see what it
get
costs.
a price and see, because that would do well for that road whenever you get to the rest of it. But that would be a major patch that would alleviate, you know, if you talk the 20/80 rule, that 20% work down there would improve 80% of the lives in that development.
So you're talking now from the border, which would be the Now Then and Oak Grove border,
Correct.
going west. And that is 185th?
184th.
184th?
It starts at 183rd, it just joins right into 184th.
So,
Oak Grove owns it, I believe, to somewhere right around that curve, I
Yep.
believe. That's where Oak Grove ends, I don't know the exact line, but somewhere right around that curve of that house that's on the right-hand side there, up to about the cul-de-sac, if I recall. just shy of that cul-de-sac is Oak Grove.
We got first house, we're putting that pole barn in,
Yeah,
that's in now then.
yes, that's in on, so just.
So he's the first house.
Yeah,
So the four-way,
the four-way is west of that about
right,
That's where
2
we,
blocks.
right,
that's where we stop.
Waco and 184th is where we'd stop. So we do 184th from the now then
Border?
Oak Grove border all the way up to Waco.
Is that the stretch of road
That's
you
probably.
guys are talking about as far as reclaiming and putting new pavement down?
Right.
That's probably where I said 75% of the people have to come in and go to their houses. And the majority of the people use that stretch of road, and it's
Hello?
probably the worst stretch of road.
Well, I'm in a
in
meeting
all
right now, so I
development.
can call you back, okay?
Yeah. There's a couple spots that are getting bad too, but I know that 75% of people at least drive down to that four-way stop to get to their home. There's about 50 to 60 homes back in there.
Yeah, well, the section he's talking about is the worst section of that development right now.
So from the border, from the now then Oak Grove border, westbound on 184th Avenue, how far are you looking for some work to be done in the next couple years, let's say?
Well, if they can reclaim that section down to Waco, would be great, but.
So from the border to Waco?
Any
Yes.
idea, Joe, approximately?
But, you know, if they can get that much done, reclaim and fix some of the other areas with just some patch, I think we'd probably be good for 5-6 years.
So border to Waco, and then patch other areas. That sound about right, Joe?
I know the other areas probably aren't worth patching, I don't know, but something should be done there. They don't get the heavy traffic like it does down to Waco. It's my.
Well,
More people come off of 7 than off of 27, you think, to access
You're not
that
going through
community?
You're not going through the, weaving through the residential.
but if we do this, you know, it's not gonna be 3 or 4 years down the road to do rest of it, cause the city's gotta sit on this money, whatever work they do. So they wanna recoup their money as soon as possible.
I don't care when they do it, I mean, that's, you have to put into your plan,
Yeah.
but if you can do that first section at least, and then have a plan for us, for the rest of the group there to say when we're gonna do it, you know. We just don't know what you're going to do, and,
Well, it's hard to say without, well, I wish Brad was here, cause he can give us an idea what it would cost, but until we get an estimate on what it costs to reclaim it, measure it out, see how long it is.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
so the current, with the 5-year plan that we worked on last fall, Rogers Lake was planned to be reclaimed reclaimed in 2021 and 2022 budget time period. So in 2021, it was planned to be reclaiming the whole thing. That's what's in the current 5-year plan. I'm looking at you.
I'm just missing advice.
So that's the current plan. So I don't know all the details of if I don't know, Joe, have we done something like this before where we've done the work and held on to it till a different year?
I don't think we can. I don't think you wanna do that. I mean, something like this patching,
Right, if we
that's
did,
up to the city if they can if they can afford to hang on to it. That's why I say you almost need to get costs, see what it costs.
let's just run on, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, we have no idea how much it would cost to do that now.
So that'd be the first step.
And then where does that fit in with everything else that needs to be done for 2018? If we're looking at prioritizing projects, where does that fit in?
Well, that's why I say, we don't really know until we get a price.
Well, in your workshop that just took place here previously, if I understood what I heard correctly, was there a couple of bids that were gonna come in on Old Viking Boulevard?
Old Viking,
You were releasing, you know, you weren't releasing anything, but you were gonna put it out there for bidding?
there's 3 bids that are the plan for Old Viking. One is to go with the original plan, which was patch the subgrade and then put the overlay on, the 2-inch overlay on top that we've discussed all along.
Let me interrupt you, Dan. I don't need the specs. What I'm trying to figure out is how can we work it in here to get an estimate to do this short piece on 184th Avenue? Reclaim it and overlay, or reclaim it and repave it. How can we?
Well, we're not getting bids, we just wanna get an idea of the cost. So
I can talk
we
to
just
Brad tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can go down there and measure it tomorrow and talk to Brad.
So you're gonna do that, Joe?
Yeah, I'll do that.
And, so that's gonna be from the border to Waco. Correct?
Yep.
Now, Joe, when you do that, do you recommend you go into the intersection and kinda,
I'll talk to Brad, see how they usually do it.
okay,
You would think you'd have to go in
yeah, then go
a
both.
bit,
Yeah.
Whatever easiest way for
Whether
them to
the
come back on
3
it.
spots.
Yeah,
Well, actually 4. The circle, 184th, and then Waco on both sides. Yeah. So, okay. We can find
So
out.
we'll move forward, Dave, on getting an estimate or rough idea what that might cost to reclaim that section? Put pavement on it? Then we'll discuss it again and pass it on to the city council?
Yep.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned for next month.
Well, now you want to get that information in, because we'll be choosing the bids on June 12th.
Right.
We would want to have that at our workshop to discuss whether we wanted to entertain, when the reclaimer's out here doing that same, using that somewhere else in the city to capture the cost savings, if there is any. So we would have to have this before June 7th.
And if they're not going to do that reclaim for that section, I still think if you can do it in your regular budget to at least do some fairly good patching for us for the next 3 years.
There's nothing down there to patch, that's the biggest problem.
You have to realize, from a
There's
city
nothing-
planning standpoint, that all the future is predicted, we'd be in hover cars by now. Roads would be obsolete, so we couldn't plan for this.
In the general repairs.
Yeah, because we're all gonna be in hover cars, we don't need roads.
So,
That's crazy.
But we'll get prices, I'll get prices tomorrow, I'll talk to Brad tomorrow. And I'll let the mayor know what it is. And
Joe, what do you think the condition of the subgrade is out there?
that section here is pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. So probably not an issue there?
so as far as 5-year planning, to clarify, Joe, you're thinking, even if we do this, we still should look at doing the whole area sooner than later?
I don't think that
Yeah,
should
'cause the
change.
city, the city can't afford to sit on that money. So we have to get it done so us get the people to pay for it.
And we talked about doing that whole development at one time rather than 2 years.
Right.
I would keep it on the agenda, you said for 2021? That what we had planned for
That's what the
originally?
current, that's the current plan, right? Yeah.
I would say no go past 2021.
So that's 3 years.
I say 2021, no later than that.
And you're talking, when you're talking the whole project, you're talking going down that hill in the back, down see, when we originally did that, that was not part of our original.
No, that guy that owns that steel place in there, that's a 9-ton road going to his place. They paid extra to make that a 9-ton road.
Going up from
coming off 27.
Oh, okay, oh, he did,
Yep, that's a 9-ton section of road in there.
all right, I didn't know that. 'Cause most of that's Ramsey except for going down to the bottom of the hill there.
Yeah, 3/4 way bottom of the hill, then it turns into now then. And from there, and that's when they built the road up heavier.
Okay.
So we'd be looking at patching it and then probably 2021 doing a full reclamation.
Yep.
So we got something we can talk about down there, let's give them some idea. Okay.
And you're talking about the city picking up the tab on that then? The
Um,
patch- the patch-
Which part?
Patching.
Yeah, because you can't assess just that one little section. Too hard.
There's only about, 3, 4, 5, 8 houses along there that, on that road, face it. Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
And Joe, then you'd want to ask Cory to just check with Bob about whether we have to fund it or if we could hold the assessment until the whole road's done. See how that's handled typically. And Mr. Chair, one more thing then on the rest of the roads that you're going to look at here to prioritize, pretty much need some estimates on those too in order to look at your bang for your buck. And which are the worst and which ones you can afford.
All right, moving on, or?
Yes, moving on, so that covers the, that would cover the, Rogers Lake area, correct? Didn't miss anything there, right? And so that's it for floor items, no other floor items?
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
So we have road repairs for 2018. Item A. Culvert on 207th Avenue Northwest, top of culvert 6 inches below ground, and outlet ditch needs cleaned out.
On these two culverts in A and B, both, we had trouble this winter, freezing up. And the 207th, we had to dig down 6-8 inches to find the top of the culvert on the outlet side. And Pinnaker Lake, on Pinnaker Street, we had to dig down a good 13 inches to find the top of that culvert. So the drainage ditches are filled in. And if we clean out the ditches, might as well replace the culverts while you're there. Because I have never replaced them since I've been here.
Wow, that's a long time on those culverts.
I've been here 27 years plus, so.
Wow. So that's something you wanna get at after?
Well, sometime this summer.
So is that opening up the road, taking the culvert out,
Yep.
lifting the base, putting a new culvert in, and then patching back on top?
What do you mean lifting the base?
You said, just clarify, when you say the top of the culvert 6 inches below ground, are you just replacing the culvert, or are
You
you?
replace the culvert and clean out the ditch.
You wanna put the culvert a little deeper after you get the ditch
No, it'd
cleaned
be
out?
about the same grade. But just everything around is filled in. Mainly it's going out on private property. The one on 207th, you probably have to ditch, about 20 feet to get it to drain out into AB Weldings.
Do you have to rent a machine to do some ditching?
This is gonna be contracted out. And, Pinnaker Street, that one there's gonna be ditched probably about 40, 50 feet. Drain it into another drainage ditch.
So would one contractor do the culvert and the ditching work?
Yeah,
And those are galvanized culverts then?
yep. Probably not much left of them.
And then on line F, you have 3 culverts also. Same type of scenario?
No, those over here on Iguana Street in this industrial park, those are just heaving up. I talked to Shane last year about it, last fall, about replacing them or doing something with them. They're speed bumps. Yeah, but they're getting worse.
Same contractor though, for A and B, could handle the line F as well?
Yep.
So you're gonna need council approval?
Yep.
For that?
But there's 3 culverts on Iguana, I don't know if we dig them up, put smaller culverts in, insulate them on top and bottom, try to keep the frost away from them.
So is that similar to what you did on 185th?
Pardon?
185th and Autumn Acres there, is that, we had to replace that culvert, became a speed bump?
Yeah, it's becoming a speed bump again.
Is it?
Yep.
So obviously the frost is pushing it up?
Yeah.
Is it is the culvert good or is it?
They did that for, they were blacktopping it before I even got down there, so I don't know what they got in there.
The question is it working as a speed bump?
Yeah, it's kind of speed bump.
Probably.
It rattles your teeth, to say it that way.
Maybe we wanna leave it then.
It wasn't that bad, you noticed it, but it wasn't that bad when I was on there tonight.
How fast were you going?
Speed limit,
What is 213th, Joe, is that, well, obviously that must be blacktop.
213th is the last meeting, people on Pinnacle Lake Estates, was talking about that pothole on 213th.
Well, that's been bad forever, well, a long time.
So is that in the new plan, or?
it's not, it's on the, it's on the,
It's on the longer.
the edge of Pinnacle Lake.
Ah, so it's not in this
So it's
new,
not in there.
it's not in this new plan coming up for this summer then?
So it'd be, you know,
Well, there again, a 21 by 60 foot section, subcontractor, or are you gonna do it?
That'd be some contract,
Subcontractor?
yeah.
Any idea on the bottom there, Joe?
I have no idea.
It's like the road went through a slough there.
I know Dick Barstow helped put that road in. They pushed it in, made it across, next day they came back, had to build a new road again. It
It's gone,
disappeared.
yeah.
So for this, probably have to be dug up, the fabric under it, same thing we did down Ebony and Garnett.
What has to be done where the dump truck went through on Watercrest, 811 feet?
Well, that one road there,
yeah. That,
then there's no place to start, no place to stop. There's no patching it. So you gotta redo the whole road or,
if you looked at the 2015 study, that was, or the update that was done, Watercrest was on there. Basically, the pavement, if it's, the pavement's past its useful service life and can't be salvaged, and I would agree, a total reconstruct was recommended, at $140,000. That, I noticed, unless I completely missed it, Watercrest was not included in the study that was done last year, the update from last year.
We don't have Watercrest in the 5-year road improvement plan?
It wasn't in Shane's list of roads to look at, it wasn't in the total list of roads from Shane to look at.
it's a total reclaim now.
Right.
I mean, it's-
I would agree, I was down there tonight, and it's,
So there's probably nothing gonna get done with that this year then, or no patching, no Band-Aids, no,
There's nothing there to patch.
nothing to,
I mean, there's nothing there to patch to.
So we gotta put Watercrest in a 5-year plan here soon,
So,
correct?
as far as when Eric went through with the plow, is there something that needs to be done to prevent that from happening, or we just need to know for plowing?
You can't prevent it. I mean, you just, blacktops just gave out.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, is this a hedgehog solution until we can blacktop it?
Basically, that's what it turned into.
Reclaim it, back her down and
Yep.
run the plant?
Basically, to me, it'd be a better road if you did that. I mean, Hedgehog turned out pretty good.
Do you want to, add that into your getting a price for the, other section on, in Rogers Lake there on the 184th?
I can do that.
And that would take care of Watercrest for a short time, little while? Yes, no, maybe?
Well, if we take it back to gravel, last a lifetime.
Till it can be
Looking at-
worked into a 5-year plan?
So we're looking at just grinding it up and putting it back to gravel, or?
That's what we did to Hedgehog.
For now.
Mhm.
We can put it in the 5-year plan later for pavement again.
But how many years ago was Hedgehog done? Quite a few, isn't it? 4, 5?
5,
Yeah.
In that one? You felt that really well.
So that's kind of the direction on Watercrest. So Bison Street,
That's the cul-de-sac where the asphalt literally came up. I mean, there's a literal pile in the middle of the cul-de-sac right now.
frost issues, frost problems?
No, the truck went through this one. Plow didn't, the truck did.
So we don't have a good subgrade on that one? A base, good base, subbase?
Yeah, it was good. What happened on this one, the residents down there got the brilliant idea to make a brush pile.
Oh,
Oh, they cooked it.
They cooked oil out of the
Yep,
asphalt.
yep, they ruined it.
So one thing you can do now, in my opinion, assess all the 3 houses on that road. You gotta reclaim the whole cul-de-sac and redo the whole cul-de-sac. I'd assess them back 100%. Somebody's gonna squeal, find out who did it.
and you know for sure that's what happened?
Oh yeah, but we end up going out the chipper and chipping part of the pile. And you can still see the black stuff, black marks on the road here. That's where they,
Yeah.
that's where they burned it. That's where part of the brush pile was.
And that fixes, is that just the cul-de-sac area or the road on the road on?
Well, the
in
couple section of the road is, be a sub-base correction.
Right,
They wouldn't have nothing to do with that, but I figured since it was out there, I just took pictures of it. Since they're out there, they can, might as well patch that too.
So Bison Street would also need to be put in the 5-year plan?
Nope,
No?
that's gotta be fixed this year.
So you pretty much need council approval on all of this.
Well, yeah, 'cause the council's gotta figure out what they wanna do. Bison Street, I would assess that one 100% back to the residents.
to do the whole thing, or just that, the end?
Cul-de-sac.
Yeah, cul-de-sac.
There's 3 driveways on there.
Right, but you got this part, and then you got the cul-de-sac down here.
There's only one cul-de-sac.
Joe, is that Bison Street at the end of Autumn Acres there?
Yeah.
Cul-de-sac?
But not the end one. It goes,
It's up towards the iguanas, it goes to the north.
no, it goes towards 191st.
Yeah.
Yep.
And not the one that goes out to the west towards the wetlands.
No,
The one that snakes past
yep.
Eureska's place.
That one's gotta be fixed this year, cause winter time is gonna tear up our trucks, our plows, everything else. This last snowfall, we didn't even plow the fall sign. That didn't even tear up the plows.
So we need an estimate.
Well, on that one there, I let the council talk to Shane. Because North Valley went out and looked at this, and he said it's cooked, there's no way to salvage it. You gotta reclaim the whole cul-de-sac. So I'd have to, my recommendation, have the council to contact Shane. Get prices, reclaim it, redo it, repave it.
For Bison.
Bison, and assess it back to the residents.
So we need an estimate to the council for 184th Avenue before June 7th. Correct?
Technically, things for the June 7th meeting are due by May 31st.
Oh, boy. So we're gonna change that to May 31st? So you need, for the culverts, line items A and B, Joe, you need, council approval.
We need a quote. We need a quote. We're contracting it out.
What does the council need by May 31st? They need the estimate for 184th Avenue. Do they need, anything else in this list before May 31st or on May 31st? Bison Street?
Anything else, Joe, that's time sensitive?
No. Bison we can do anytime, because that's just a cul-de-sac.
So whatever work we need done, we just wanna get quotes in, so then we can decide what we wanna do and how we're gonna, what we're gonna,
Right, that's my question, what, so,
Watercress would be the other one.
so as far as estimates to the
Well, I
council,
mean, for blacktopping, the only thing we really need quotes on is 184th, Rogers Lake area.
If you're talking about reclaim,
Reclaiming, I mean, that's a whole different game from, yeah, for what, Rogers Lake.
yeah,
Yes.
and if Watercress, if again, you're trying to piggyback on Brad having a vehicle out here, that would be the other one you may want to.
Well, I don't know if he needs a reclaimer for that one, because he's not, we don't really care if it goes down to a fine. 'Cause the machine he's got makes it bigger chunks.
so what do you wanna do with Watercress? That you wanna turn it back to gravel?
We're gonna have to
So what are you gonna do with what's there right now?
bury it. We'll just grind it up and bury it.
So you're
Yeah,
gonna
I
use
can
it,
get
you're gonna use
prices.
it as a sub base.
Yep, I can get prices and take it to the council, give it to the council before the meeting.
So you're gonna do that for Watercrest?
Yep,
You're gonna do that for 184th?
yep.
so we just pick it up, crush it, put it back down and pack it hard?
Yep, and put class 5 or recycle over top of it.
Yeah, build it up.
So that way the council's got the prices, they can decide to add it, subtract it, or whatever they wanna do. So we need a motion on culverts.
So anything else that you need to get to the council before May 31st, on or before May 31st? Just those two items, 184th Avenue and Watercrest?
I believe so, yeah.
So do we need a motion for Joe to present estimates to the city council for the reclamation and repaving of 184th Avenue?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make that motion and add Watercrest on the same motion, same scenario, an estimate for Watercrest to reclaim it, leave it, pack it. So that's two estimates concerning blacktop to the city council on or before May 31st. That's the motion on the floor.
Right, so Joe's getting quotes to do the work, yep.
Yep.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
These would be estimates that he has, or would that be
Quotes.
quotes? Okay.
It's just, Joe's just getting quotes on
Yep.
two projects
That's different.
to present to the city council on or before May 31st. Got a second on the motion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So that takes care of 184th, which is not on this list, but it takes care of Watercrest. So, Bison Street, well, let's go back to the top. So so we need a motion. So I'll make a motion here to, for Joe to present quotes from subcontractors to replace the culvert on 200, well, I don't know if it needs, is it gonna need replacing, Joe?
I would, since the machine's there, I might as
I
well.
mean, you're
replace
there, you're digging it up,
it. Right.
you know. And then are you replacing the culvert on Pinnaker Street? Replace that one as well?
Yep.
So this motion would be for Joe to present to the city council quotes from a subcontractor to do culvert replacement on 207th Avenue Northwest and also Pinnaker Street to include cleaning the ditches at both of these sites. Correct?
Yes.
Motion is on the floor.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So it takes care of line item A, B, D. Yes, Mr.
That's the one thing that, if I understood you guys are trying to then get these numbers, then prioritize them. So if we didn't have money for all of them, you wanted to do them in a certain, what's the priority that you're recommending? Once you know the dollars, what's most critical from Joe's standpoint personally? Can you guide us on that?
Yeah, how do you wanna handle that, Joe? I mean, it's, we're not gonna have a road and bridge meeting before May 31st.
And it's just a special meeting.
But that's why I asked if the rest of them were time sensitive.
Well, I don't believe A and B is time sensitive, right? Line item A and line item B is not time sensitive.
No, those now, you're talking about blacktop.
I just talk about if you're gonna try and ride the reclaimer while it's in, those are the ones that are sensitive to that.
Well, to me, 184th would be the most critical one,
Yeah.
because Watercrest is already beyond hope.
And that's the only one I was saying, you wanna get that one in before the workshop. The other ones, I think you can get the numbers and then prioritize them at your next meeting.
Because Watercrest
and
really,
recommend them for the July meeting.
Watercrest can be ripped up anytime. 'Cause we're not repaving yet.
But you're talking about working those in this year yet, right?
The price is there.
So the top priority would be 184th Avenue, correct? That's what I think I'm hearing here?
Right.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
it all
we're in
depends what
agreement
the-
on
It all
that?
depends what the attorney says too.
What's that, Joe?
It all depends what the attorney says too.
About holding not holding back the assessment until the rest of the project gets done.
Yeah,
But we gotta see what the figures are.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll talk to-
Mr. Mayor, does that answer your concern?
I'll talk to Mr. Mayor before I do too much.
And I'd say the other ones, then you can get the numbers from Joe and discuss them at your June meeting to present to the council for July.
Yep,
There's no rush on the other ones because they can be done anytime this summer.
right.
So then we'll make a second motion, or third one, wherever we're at. We'll make another motion for line item C, which is 21 by 60 foot on 213th, should be dug out to repair subbase. That would also be done by a subcontractor. That's not a high priority? Is that correct, Joe?
I wouldn't say so, not at this time, no.
Okay. So that, this motion would be to present, or to get a quote to present to the city council to hire a subcontractor to perform that work. And that does not have a high priority, is that correct, Joe? Is that what I understand?
Right.
Okay.
Not this year, anyway.
Not this year?
Yeah. Next year I might fall through it, never know.
So,
Okay, let me ask you this question. When is Gypsy Valley on the 5-year plan?
yeah,
That's a ways.
yeah, it's
I
not.
don't think
It is.
It
It is,
is?
I thought.
I don't see it on the
It's
October 17th.
It's a ways out.
There's Verde Valley.
Gypsy Valley's not on our
Not
current,
Verde Valley's dirt road.
Yeah.
Gypsy Valley's not in our current out
Does
to
it-
2022.
Joe, does
Oh, okay.
Gypsy
Fine.
Valley tie into 213th?
Yeah, it turns into 213.
So we got a motion on the floor for line item C, 213th Avenue, for Joe to get quotes to present to the city council.
Well, that one there, you might want to go just take it to the city council, for there might be a Shane involved in it. Because I don't know what's underneath that road.
Do we need a motion for the city council to present that to Shane? Or can you just request that?
Probably be a motion, that way
What do you think, Dan?
it can be an RCA, council action.
Trying to resolve line item C here.
Right, because you were thinking of adding it into Gypsy Valley? Or does it need to be done sooner than that?
I don't know how far out Gypsy Valley is.
Must be after 5 years.
It's after 5 years. It's after 2022 right now.
That probably won't last another 5 years, 6 years.
Like you were saying, that 60-foot patch needs to be considered before that.
Within 5 years, yeah.
That one in Ebony and Garnett, so it's still holding up pretty well, isn't it? When you put the fabric down?
Oh, yeah. All those patches are good.
Do you put the fabric down about 3 feet?
They recommend at least 2 feet of cover over it.
Yeah,
And when I was digging, I just went by the soils,
yeah.
whatever the soils look like. But this one here, I have no idea what's underneath this road. Shocked me it's held up as long as it has, as good as it has. Because I know some of the stuff they went over. So we can just table this one for right now?
So we're tabling line item C.
So Gypsy Valley, Tungsten Street, and 213th were lumped together as a project.
Yeah. when Xenon got missed in Franklin Lake Estates.
So we're tabling line item C, which is a 213th Avenue sub-base repair. Refresh my memory, Joe, did we put, F, the 3 culverts on Iguana Street, did we put that in the same motion for A and B?
No.
Losing track of all these motions here going on. We addressed Watercrest. So here again now, Bison Street, if the machine's here. We didn't make a motion on that one yet, did we?
Nope. Nope.
So, if the reclaimer is out here doing work, do we want to, get a quote to reclaim at cul-de-sac, the Bison Street cul-de-sac? To reclaim it and pave it, 89 feet by 80 feet. Is that what we wanna do, Joe?
Yep.
So I'll make a motion for Joe to get quotes on the Bison Street project, 89 feet by 80 feet cul-de-sac to be reclaimed and repaved, new pavement.
Yep.
Now, there's subgrade work that has to be in there for that one spot, right?
We don't know.
We don't know, right, so,
That one would need to be by 31st June.
But this one here, we're gonna have to go back to the attorney, cause that's gonna be
Assessed 100%.
100%. To my opinion, it should be assessed 100%.
So you can get the quote. That's what's in the motion.
Yep.
Is that all at this time that you want to present to the city council? Is just the quote?
Yep, that's all we can do.
well, do we need to include that, have the conversation with the attorney in that?
Well, that's up to the town board, that's not up to us. To how the assessment stuff works.
Does that then fall into all the timeline requirements? Involving assessments?
It's,
Say that again?
Does that fall into the timeline requirements? Cause we have the rules of,
To do the
Yeah, how we
project
met with-
and the
yeah,
the hearings
you
and all
have the
that.
two different meetings and does that, I wonder if that fits in this situation?
it's, well, it might come down to it where the people come in here, point
Yep.
fingers, who did it? Whoever did it,
Yep.
get the checkbook out.
Well, that's definitely attorney discussion.
Yeah, maybe that's something Corey can talk to.
That's what I mean, we can make a motion to get quotes and give it to the town board, the city council, and they can
Yeah.
do with it what they want.
I think that's where we should leave it.
That's where we're getting above our heads now. our
Well, I'm
pay
just trying to head off if there's a way to have some of that conversation ahead of time to get more information, so that when we do go to council, we have that ahead of time. Not that road and bridge, not that the committee can recommend that.
What exactly are you looking for to have ahead of time?
If, I'm just wondering, not that this committee can approve or would be approving to having that to involve the attorney. I'm just wondering if there's a way that we can initiate that conversation now, so if we have it, cause I'm assuming an attorney's gonna want some sort of evidence to go, this is what happened, but we're gonna need to get that involved. It'd be nice to have that ahead of time.
Yeah, but we're not authorized to tell Cory what to do.
Maybe, Dan, I'm gonna try something here. Maybe it's a little out of line, but I'll try it. I would like to include Mr. Mayor, and I would like to include Councilmember Rainville in this discussion. If you can. You can't? Then I want that idea.
All right.
Can't have more than two talking.
You don't count?
All of a sudden.
But I think if we get the quotes, I can give them to the mayor. If the mayor feels he needs to talk to attorney, he can call the attorney. Cause it's getting above our pay grade doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So the motion is still the same then, to, just get quotes on reclaiming the cul-de-sac on Bison Street, an 89 by 80 section, for Joe to present to the city council. And then the city council can do with that quote as they please. Correct?
Yes, I'm just knowing that when we're saying that we want to, with the, so we're redoing the entire cul-de-sac from whatever it is, including the actual 89 by 90 foot cul-de-sac.
We're doing the cul-de-sac.
The whole, just the circle or the entire thing?
That's the measurements of the circle.
So, cause I'm just going, cause it was, cause on here it says plus the bad spot in the road.
I mean, for out there, see what it costs to fix it out.
So,
Joe will get,
do the whole thing,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, all right, the whole thing.
alright, and nothing but.
And and Joe will,
Yeah.
I'll pass it on, let's say it that way.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to be clear, cause if we're talking about just fixing where we think the fire was, that's one thing. If we're gonna add in fixing that low spot, then that's something in addition.
and can we, as a committee, recommend in this motion that the city council explore their options of assessing 100% on this project?
You can do that.
That would be up to them to,
I think.
No,
that
they
we just-
want a recommendation on Old Viking, so, yeah, cause they can always throw it out
Make a
there.
recommendation, you can do
It's
that.
a recommendation.
So that's the motion on the floor on Bison Street.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just waiting to use that gavel, aren't you?
So then we just need a motion again on the 3 culverts, which I will make the motion on the 3 culverts on Iguana Street for Joe to get quotes to represent, or to give to the city council.
Yeah.
That's the motion on the floor.
Second.
All approved? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You're getting the hang of this now.
I'm learning, Dan. So, we already talked about the road repairs for Rogers Lake. We got that covered. So now, moving on, we're back to the 5-year road improvement plan that we tabled last month.
4 years. We're at 2021, are we taken care of? Roger.
Why did we table that?
Roger
Oh,
Lake.
probably because of the Rogers Lake area, because we were gonna go take a look at the Rogers Lake area. And it sounds like we all did, and we got some of that resolved.
If that needed to be moved, to use that information, if that needed to be moved up as we're reworking the 5-year plan to add the extra year. And I think the consensus is no, it can stay where it's at. Barring the,
Barring the 184th Avenue section. That could change. The rest of it, yes, I agree, could stay where it's at.
the rest of the 5-year plan?
The Rogers Lake area in the 5-year plan,
Yes, to be done in, the whole,
20.
be done in 2021.
21, yeah. Yeah.
So currently, for 2019, it was planned to do Krypton and Ebony and Garnett. Krypton was 120,000 estimate, and Ebony and Garnet was 140K. The estimate on Ebony and Garnet was that was assuming that all the subgrade issues were taken care of. Which I'm guessing they're probably not going to be. So then would it make sense to to swap out Ebony and Garnet for something else?
We can go
Like-
back up to Garnett, up about 24.
I missed that.
Garnett Street off of County Road 24. We can go up there and get that one, and 218th off of Xenon. That was on the original thing he discussed to do.
In 2018 was, the original Garnet was up in Miller Lake Estates, yes.
Right, so we can go back in 2019 and hit that, and 218th.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I think that's a good plan.
And then the other thing that came up was, assuming that we were going to assess 50% to residents, that we could theoretically look at $400,000 worth of projects per year. But what I'm wondering about is if we do want to continue, if we do want to look at that from a committee perspective, or do we want to keep some money aside for repairs as they're coming up?
Well, I think a smart move would keep some money aside for repairs. You're always gonna have repairs.
You're gonna have repairs, you always wanna have overruns.
Yeah.
So instead of necessarily looking at totaling the 5-year plan each year to 400,000, we could look at leaving it where it is and have some extra set aside to take care of repairs as they come up. So in theory, if we run into some of these bigger issues, that there'll be some money in the fund to take care of them at the time, instead of trying to rework everything. At least that's one thought.
So you wanna leave the tentative 400,000 figure alone? And you wanna add to that for repairs? Or do you wanna take some money from the 400,000 and lower that? And which way do you wanna go? Here's the 400,000. You wanna go higher for repairs? You don't wanna go lower for repairs, the money aside for repairs?
So if we budgeted $400,000 worth of repairs, that the city would be paying $200,000 per year for repairs, and then assessing the other half, we could go right up to the $400,000 mark per year for repairs. But if we did that, there wouldn't be any extra money being put in for the assessments. We could go to a total of 400,000 and split it 50-50 with the residents. So in theory, we planned on $260,000 worth of repairs for 2019. If we wanted to, as a committee, we could go up to 400,000, knowing that the city would pay 200 and the residents would pay the other 200.
I want to add something here, Dan. I want to refresh your memory. There was a meeting last year, I think it was an open meeting to the public to discuss all of this type of stuff. And Shane was here, financial planner was here, attorney was here. And Dana and I were here. And I will always remember this. It's still very clear in my mind what the attorney said. Because I had asked him about the assessment, having an assessment policy. And he said, absolutely not. And then I followed up by saying, so every project would be treated unique? And he said, yes. So I think, with that being said, you have to kind of get your mind off of this 50-50 on every project here. Maybe there's going to be projects where you can assess 70% and the city pays 30%. Maybe there's going to be projects where it's going to be an 80-20. Maybe it's going to be projects where it's going to be a 60-40. You know, so I don't think we ever want to lose what Mr. Rupy told us in that meeting. I don't think we ever want to, lose track of that. So that changes numbers a little bit if you're going to approach every project uniquely. Every project stands alone on its own. So Old Viking Boulevard, I think the city council went ahead with a 50-50, correct? Or is it 50-50?
Yep.
50% assessment?
Right.
I thought
City
so, yeah.
pays the other 50? I don't necessarily believe that every project is going to be that way or should be that way, just based on Mr. Rupy's advice or opinion. So some years you might be able to put a lot more money aside for repairs. Other years you might be less money for repairs. How you guys have it set up in the city council is it road and bridge? What's that fund that you use?
Road improvement. Right.
Road improvement fund? So that's a set figure that the council puts in the budget every year, correct?
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean you have to use it all every year.
No, we don't. And that's kind of from a planning perspective, the 5-year plan comes from this committee. So if we wanted to look at including a project or two more, we could, or we could leave it where it is, and then there would potentially be extra funds available for repairs as they came up, was what I was trying to get at.
So Joe, if you're gonna define repair, how would you, just quick, with few words, how would you define a repair?
Subgrade correction, ditching.
Are these things that you do yourself? Or repairs things you hire out?
Hire it out. They'll be within the contract, wherever you do the
So
job.
so the definition of repair for you here in the city now then is pretty broad. It's pretty large. Would that be correct?
Right. But for blacktopping a road, it'd be sub-facial ditching repairs.
Right, so repair is,
But
is,
your 2019 and 2020, to my opinion, you should go kind of light to have money left over, because Rogers Lake's gonna take subgrade correction. So you want some money left over to do that.
right, so right now for 2019, we're planning on 260,000, and for 2020, we're at 297,000.
297?
297 for 2020.
What's those figures, Dan?
Okay, actually I gotta tweak this out. If we're gonna do Garnett at Miller Lake Estates for 2019, we're looking at 234,000.
Oh, that's the cost of the project?
That would be the cost of the projects.
Well, those are gonna go up,
Yeah.
so you can just plan on a little inflation there happening.
So you figured 2019, 250,000. Try to bid a high.
And then for 2020, it was Rolling Hills, the Meadows of Verde Valley, and Morton Farms for a total of 297,000.
So there again, if you approach both of those at the 50-50 plan, assessing and then the city paying half and half, city's gonna have a whole lot of money left over.
Right, that's why I was getting at. If we wanted to leave that whole lot of that money left over for things as they came up, because there's probably going to be culvert work next year. There's potentially going to be some sub-base that needs to be repaired.
Yeah.
And there's still watercress that's not figured in anywhere.
Well, I would certainly say yes to that because you're gonna have to have money for repairs. So, yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So,
Dana, what do you think?
No, I know, that's fine. That's kinda what we talked about before.
Yeah,
It was a matter of if we were to continue to assess at 50/50, there would be the potential to put in some more projects in the next few years. But we don't necessarily need to. We can add in 2023 and continue on if we want.
well, and
What happened to 22?
I don't think we wanna get ahead of ourselves, because this is a relatively new step for the city. I know they've been in this position once or twice before, years ago, but, this is, you know, this is a big new project for this current city council, so let's let you guys get your feet wet and see how these first two projects go.
Okay.
And learn from them.
Right, well, that's what we talked at council, was to come back to Road and Bridge to one, rework the Road and Bridge plan using at the current budgeted values, so that there could be some more projects in. But if the Road and Bridge Committee says, right now, let's hold off on that, because we're hitting a lot of spots where we are needing to do spot repairs, then I would think that's an acceptable recommendation.
Yes, I agree, yes.
So then the only other thing that would need to be done at some point in time for the 5-year plan would be to include 2023, because 2021 and 22 was Rogers Lake.
So what was scheduled, Shane's scheduling, what was on his schedule?
What we came up with for what years? We only went 5 years out. 2022 was the end of it, that we
23.
talked about in October,
23.
because we had 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22.
Well, in my opinion, if it lasts that long, it's Howell Street. It's just getting pretty thin, if it lasts till 2023.
So there were several projects that were not,
Then another
Alice was
one,
not in the list at the time, and there were several projects that weren't committed to dates.
another one should be Tiger and 184th. That one there's a good road, but it needs to be overlaid.
And that's on the, that was in Shane's plan, but wasn't attached to a year.
Well, let's put that on 2023 then, 184th. And Alice is going to take, I might end up doing a total reclaim on that one time. And we get that far out, you might want to consider doing the industrial park.
So the Garnett and Pinnaker and 218th, that's up here on the north end, right? Going north of 24.
Yep.
So that got scratched for this year, so we're putting that into 2019.
Yeah. And the other one was the 218th that did not get done this year. Prairie Brook Estates for $48,000.
Which one? 200 what?
218th Avenue, Prairie Brook Estates.
It's off of Xenon.
It was to do an 1.5-inch overlay for $48,000.
Oh. How come I don't see that in any of our original 5-year plan?
That's the first one Shane wanted to
It
do.
was in 2018 originally.
And that got scratched. So those two we're gonna put into 2019?
Might as well get it back on schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for 2019, we're doing Krypton for 120. estimate. Garnett Street up in Miller Lake Estates for 114 estimated, and then 218th for 48,000.
What'd you call that development on 218th?
Miller, 218th is Prairie Brook Estates.
So that'd be 3 projects in 2019.
Mhm.
So that takes care of 2019.
Mhm.
Don't have to do anything different on 2020, don't have to do anything different on 21 or 22.
Correct. And then the only other one that's not on the current list from Shane's is Watercress.
Watercress, when you put it on your list. You don't put it on the 5-year plan.
To repave it.
Not right now. You don't even put it on your list yet.
But we could put it on the list right now, on the 5-year plan, right? Isn't that what we
Good,
kinda
but you know,
discussed?
now you got other blacktops that needs attention.
Yeah.
And that one's back to dirt now.
Yep.
So I say 2023, you're talking Jasper, 185th, one of those two. They're just as old as Old Viking.
So where do you want to address Watercrest?
Next year.
So you want to put Watercrest in,
Next year, I mean, we'll
2019.
discuss it next year. I didn't say put it on the plan. We'll discuss it sometime.
He's saying plan year 6 of your 5-year plan.
Yeah, there you go. If I say 2023, you put 184th, maybe Jasper, or 185th.
so for 2023, you're saying, what, Joe, Jasper, and what?
184th.
You might want to consider 185th before Jasper.
I'm thinking 185th Clifton and 187th.
Yeah, well, that's all one road. It's just,
Okay, right. Just
I mean, this is the only state I know if you make a curve, you gotta change names.
185th and what, Dan?
So it'd be 185th Clifton and 187th. And that was a 2-inch overlay estimated at 330,000. That would be pretty much a year's.
So to bring the 5-year plan up to speed here, for 2019, the potential projects would be Garnett, Pinnaker, and 218th, Ebony and Garnett and Krypton Street, 218th in the Prairie Brook Estates,
218th, yeah, 2019?
2019,
Yeah.
It's not Ebony and Garnett.
No,
It's the Garnett Street in the Miller Lake Estates, 2 different Garnets.
Garnett off of 24.
Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. No, we talked about putting that in there as well, because we didn't move it. It was already in there.
Well, Ebony
And we
and
kept it
Garnett.
in there. The Ebony and Garnett and Krypton Street.
But that was assuming that the sub-base work was going to be done. To do the overlay.
Is that right?
Yeah, the residents didn't want it done until we get rid of the water.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right.
So
Yep,
that
yep,
we were
yep,
gonna
yep,
take
yep.
Ebony and Garnett out for next year.
That's right. Yep.
Gotta keep up, Barry.
I know. It's late. That's right. So then 2020 doesn't change. Rolling Hills, Meadows of Verde Valley, and Morton Farm reserves. 2021, half of Rogers Lake area. 2022, the other half of Rogers Lake area, and the remainder of Garnett Street.
On Oak Pond, the other side.
So that's not changing. Correct?
Correct. Currently, that is not changing.
2023, we're gonna recommend 185th Avenue, Clifton, and 187th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And 184th.
So that's our new 5-year plan?
I'm just confused. What's 180 and 184th? What 184th are you referring to?
over by Bill's,
Or
off of Ball
on
Street.
the southwest corner.
It's a short road. It was done back
That's the
90,
184th and Tiger?
yep.
Okay, so then for 2023, we're recommending $430,000 worth of repairs.
That all? Want more? Nah, I'd leave it like that.
Just remember, Dan, every project is unique.
No, I understand that. That's, more than we have done. And if we want to play, if
Well,
that's
you're
what we're
talking 5 years down the road too, so you should be increasing the budget every year too for blacktop.
I just want to make sure I got it right when we put it in here, that's all.
We get it, Dana?
Yep.
Do we get it, Bill?
So,
We get it, Joe?
Sounds good to me.
just to read it again, 2019 is Krypton at 120K estimate, 218th for 48K, and Garnett Street, which is Miller Lake Estates, for 114. And we got everything else.
Think so, yeah.
Okay.
All in, all done?
Cool beans.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn.
So move.
There you go. Yeah.
Amen.
You gotta watch that, Perry, because those microphones pick up everything.
I know.
You just woke somebody up that was listening